Friday 30th June 2017. We in the engine room. Call them out. Who's outside?
Get the tenors rolling. People on the floor.
I know it's Mountain, so half of y'all in a bar somewhere. Let's see who not.
Everything just up until everything just gone to a standstill. The crowd started to get. We're wrong with the band. It wasn't wrong with the iron more than fall because the vibration was very well in. When the iron fall, it humbled the band. And everything started to crawl, everything started to fall, and the truth was plain.
See how David Rudder is a genius? You hear that turn of phrase? When the iron fall, it humbled the band. You know what I mean? Man, brilliant. They will only realize he should be Dr. David Rudder after he dead, you know. Everybody else is doctor. But the real doctor, this way. When the iron fall, it humbled the band, boy. And the neighbor next door. All now so we in still big war.
That is the same one who put out your mother because she was in love with this man.
She used to open the church door just to pray on the head.
Now she goes into the neighbor next door.
Oh my granddaughter beats for a steel man.
If it wasn't for you, girl,
your daddy would have been so dread.
But when you see her in the
I like David Rudder music.
and take it out on the street, engine room is done with the peace, made frustration. Nearly every old man could tell you that it's
In-laws were outlaws. Hear the turn of phrase. This man write a whole song with it.
is the healing of the nation. Sometimes I just felt lash at the very thing just because, you know.
Well, where the people tonight? Where the crowd? Everybody out drinking, Mountain money. In this times,
The iron in the head. Them scratch and scratching. They have the drummer itching to be
well bred.
The conga man I close.
Pelting blows.
I saw it for the drum skin. Me and all in backward.
May iron up by my head.
2-3 cowbell man, the bell in the hand and a tassa man pumping. Well you can't stop up. Well maybe our next rung a beers. And we could go all day as the band play and the people feeling sweet. Engine room, Lord, it could go on forever. See them jump and dance, give yourself a chance in the heat. Yes, engine room, it could never die, never. Because it's 9 months my mother made me check out she had it. So I want a hand rhythm section, so I can prove occupation. Gonna let them know they could never stop the drum. When people feeling the doctrine and they show the reaction.
You see that message?
Rhythm has something to show them.
Hear this line. Hear this whole section.
Korean my band, Luca Bess and Slave. Somebody go and call Francis Wickham.
Tell him we ready to wail.
Bobby Muhammad with the bell, live a race in hell, the short rasta from the guns. So I want them up on the ground. Go down Carlton Street, get Pelham, further than then bring back his guns. Then can't get away. Look,
go and catch them scamps.
Cause when you see we get together, brother, it go be Cactus and Pepper. The engine room.
Alright, let me do this.
It's done the way that's half the back canal. All the jamming and the jamming and the
I
jamming.
can cuss once, I will cuss now. Call out people. We play music till we have 600. Again, all kind of information here. Lord, if I could have shared this phone. If your iron good is king. You hear our next genius? Somebody just messaged me for the link for last night's video. It's on YouTube and I can't do that now. You gotta spread the word, tell them, share it, bring out the numbers. You know who's our next musical genius? Wendell Manwaring and the whole side in Tricanal. You see that team? We don't understand what we have. We don't understand what we have. But we got mortgage with stones by Island Finance for a whore. Play yourself. Like yourself. And all them soca mafia deciding who getting musical airplay. So you don't even know what really available in your country. Available to you. This our culture. Black, white, red, brown, green. Trinidad culture is yours. Numbers climbing, spread the word. You listen to the words there, right?
Flying high, I think you caused him to cry. Now all over the dance, calling your name. They say you are wanted, man, and it's time that you understand. The things that they say you do, they coming for you. Ben lion, Ben bad man. Why so I get on bad in the people play?
Whining and getting on bad. Bad. Should I ban knives? Hear that jackass now. You don't feel proud. Jesus rode a jackass on Palm Sunday. So for all who want to stop me, they have two things I'm not giving up. The word shit. You know where that word shit came from? And I use bullshit. Shit came from, they used to write in big on the canvas bags that they used to pack the manure to put in the hull of the sailing ship. Because they used to mix up the manure and Trinidad pitch. The world knew this. To mix up manure and Trinidad pitch, because wooden ships made with wooden planks, the planks would separate and the ship could sink. And they had people on the boat, their job was to keep mixing manure, which they heaped in canvas bags, on the boat, on the ship, in the hull, and Trinidad pitch. And they would mix it together and make a gooey paste and stuff it with the planks. So it was a natural kind of silicone. But anyway, over the years, ships used to blow up, catch a fire, and people didn't know why. And when the water seeped through the gaps in the planks and it wet the manure in the seal hull, it would give off methane gas. And when they send one of the guys down below to go and patch and stuff, and he go down there with a candle, the methane gas would catch a fire and it would blow up or burn down the ship. So when they realized that, they used to package the manure and they used to write on it, "Store high in transit," S-H-I-T. And those 4 letters were written in bright red, so people would see it and know, store it high in transit so it doesn't give off methane gas and blow up. So all of you who didn't know, that's where the word come from. Bullshit is a different thing. That's from the PNM and the UNC, and that's something else entirely. And I'll give you the explanation for that soon. But let's come back to King Jackass, because he just asked the nation, what am I do ban knives? And I'll tell you why I have a problem with that. Because on the face of it, on the surface of it, it sounds like a rational thing to say. I wasn't there. I didn't tell the man kill the child. Cool, true, all of that is alright. A correct statement. But you cannot say something like that as arrogantly and as sarcastically, even cynically as you did, unless it was a follow-on on something. Take, for example, that we say, build a maritime security wall, zero tolerance on guns, a buyback, amnesty, and then 3 months later, if you get catch with a gun, go to jail. Go directly to jail. Do not pass go, do not collect 200. But you've not done that. So you've not dealt with guns. So do not pretend like you've dealt with guns and now they're using knives, so should you ban knives? You're a jackass. You have no idea what you're doing. And every time you open your mouth, you embarrass and humiliate all of the people who jump on board with you to get you in office. I'm hearing about them. But I'll show you a picture I just get here. And we call in this picture, who that? Who that, right? I can't tell you who sent the picture. But tell me you're seeing it. Now, right? See that? I understand. HDC. This is a notorious drug dealer and gang leader standing with His Excellency the President, and who I could only assume is the new Minister of Public Utilities, I am assuming. But Dr. Keith Rowley is making a complete and utter mess. I am not going to cuss, but I want to cuss. I want to cuss bad. I want to cuss stink. I like how Peter Hadid is talk. And I don't see, I go and read in Peter Hadid comments, and nobody there busting his balls and telling him about cussing. And Peter, somebody tell me today, Peter used the word, the F word, in 9 he used it as a verb, a noun, an adjective, an adverb. I think he even used it as a percentage and a decimal point today. And he makes his point with it. In fact, the name of his blog is Dies Effery, and that's Peter. And I wish I had that y'all would give me the freedom and the luxury, because people call me on the phone and say, Philip, people don't like it when you cuss. And there are other people who call and say, boy, cuss with the mother so and so. So, and as I understand, I have an extremely diverse listenership. And when I ask people to give me their professional opinion, some people will love them, some people will hate them. The beauty of us when we come together is, as we're creating this one people under one flag, learning to be very tolerant of each other, we will understand those who love and those who hate, right? Because the whole wall is light up, and as we reading last night, they had one guy, every third comment he attacking Gary. Oh gosh, brother, stick a pin in it now. We understand. You don't like him, okay. A man tell me today he was on a big shot business thread, and the CEO of our business and his only big shot politicians and lawyers and things, and he take a picture and he say, Philip Alexander, the Lone Ranger, standing up outside the Prime Minister's office, and people start to ask him, and what are you doing? And now Mr. CEO flipped the script and sent a message to let me know his entire group of companies will shut down when we call, and that's what we had to do. Because the business community, you see all who want to bad talk Syrian and wash all them out on Syrian people, the Syrian community in an uproar over the, oh God boy, I get a new language, over what took place in that Anthony Bourdain video. You see, I don't sound as well as a cluster. But anyway, what took place in that video, they're up in arms. The Syrian community want to know, and they're asking Mario Sabgabur and Peter George, who gave you all the permission to speak on behalf of all Syrians? Nobody sent you a memo and say, we want to line up. When your Johnny come lately, look, we get some money. Look, we looking like an episode of Sopranos and we proud. Foolishness. Not one Syrian wanted to be called in that. And every other Syrian business owner vexed. And they tell me, Philip, let me shut it down. Because before they was vexed with the two of them and their jokiness, they vexed with Rowley. They vexed with Rowley. Because you see, business suffering, except for a couple handful, the 1% of the 1%, who miraculously getting foreign exchange, whose business is not being affected, who are getting contracts. And I want to say something. I have some letters to write, to start writing. Now, I want you all to understand, there's a separation between when I ask for money to help me on this campaign, is different to the Progressive Empowerment Party, and you have to deal with it separately, because I have legal bills and I am fighting stuff, and we are going to bring a class action lawsuit against a government ministry over the award of contracts that we are going to expose the courts, the court system in Trinidad. We're going to expose from the courts go back, and we want to be able to take it all the way to the Privy Council. Now, I want you all to understand this. Precedent, that is a wonderful word. Precedent in legal circles means this becomes the new normal. The new normal. So that from now, from today, from this judgment, the people have this power. So it is your power we're fighting for. And if you want us to fight this fight, you gotta help me. And I'm saying that. Now, this is not for the poor people who are so generous that they will take the last dollar and give me. I do not ever want that. And this is not for me. This is for you. And I can account for every cent. Because so far, I get some money to help us with because Flo, thank you very much. Look, we're getting some nice numbers tonight. I don't think anybody getting bumped off. Flo upped us to 120, even though I do my speed test before it's 60, before when we was paid for 60, we were getting 45. So maybe you have to pay for twice to get half. But that's cool. We're going forward. I switch everything else off. I have 2 Wi-Fi running, this and that. And the team are working to set up a system where we will be broadcasting live on everything. We'll be broadcasting simultaneously on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram. If the bus pass close to us, we broadcast live on that. So we're getting set up to do that because last night, whoever interfered with my Facebook account, because they did it, they did. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but the technical people who are involved in this organization said, what happened is impossible. A video cannot disappear. And Facebook doesn't know what happened to the video. So they think we deleted it. We didn't delete it, because it was a very good video and you can see it on YouTube, and they didn't count on us having backed it up. So the only thing that we lost was this conversation that we had, which is sad but anyway, let's come back full circle. That's why I had to stick a pin in things, I had to remember what the hell I was trying to say. Jackass talking about banning knives, but Jackass has done nothing to deal with crime. You see, when Jackass said, what am I do? Ban knives? It's like Jackass believes that he's done something, but he's done nothing. Now, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, you know what I like about them? There's getting media information that says, we know who doing the thing, Because I keep telling people, our police, or you can make all the bad joke you want. Our police know who doing what, They just have a problem. They have a problem. Police have a problem. Police officers tell me, Philip, we have a problem. Sometimes, you ever hear this saying? Never saying. A bulldog could beat a skunk in a fight every time. But sometimes, he says, it's not worth the stink. Most times, he says, it's not worth the stink. And police officers look at people who commit certain crimes and they think to themselves, I am going to have to now take time off and travel to that court for the next 15 years of my life while they play the ass with that case. And that's unfair to police officers, because that's not how it's done in the civilized world. You hand over your case, you give your evidence to the prosecutorial team who take it from there. At some point, they will summon you to the court to give evidence on your evidence, and you will go and do that. But you don't have to go and sit down on a bench outside a magistrate's court every time the case called. You don't. And tonight, I have asked the most senior, well-known, versed criminal attorney in Trinidad and Tobago, Wayne Sturge, not to talk politics, to explain to us how our system takes so long for cases to work their way through. And I want you to understand this. I have 2 retired judges that are interested in giving information. One has given me information as to how the system should work. And we need to ask questions as people, because I said yesterday, the Chief Justice, the President, the Prime Minister, we're supposed to be able to fire all. And it is an obscenity that we can't, because this Chief Justice needs to be fired. And we need to go and stand up outside the Hall of Justice and say, Ivor Archie, fire yourself. That come in. The only thing protecting him from us coming and protesting outside the Hall of Justice is we can't keep up with the bullshit that the PNM and Keith Rowley doing. And we have no interest, none whatsoever, in what's going on the other side. You all see how irrelevant they've become? You see how irrelevant Yellow and Steady has become? They can't chase their own tail. They don't know what to stand up for, what to stand up against. And if I only succeed in dislodging, the best thing they have is Wayne Sturge. And I tell Trinidad that I would love to have Wayne Sturge on my team. That is a super warrior. That is a super warrior. Faris need to be fired first. Sanushta Singh, a white girl, I couldn't agree with you more. But first, how you could pick? How you could pick which one you would fire first? If somebody hand you a handful of pink slips and say, go in the PNM cabinet and fire people, and that's our next thing. Why do we have a cabinet? Do you understand what a cabinet is? A cabinet is when the king used to take a select few away from the gathering, and we will meet with you, us together, and we will make all the decisions together. Like the cabinet is going to decide what takes place with Petrotrin. If the union wasn't corrupt and bought out, if Ansel Roger wasn't sleeping in the same bed with Rowley, kissing and hugging up, we would have been able to rely on Ansel Roger to say, "What, brother, you're serious?" Because that's his job. But he's not saying that because they're lying down in the same bed at night and it's a real long-running bromance. And I respect and understand that. Do all the thing. But you're corrupting the system. Because somebody's supposed to say, "Brother, the cabinet does not decide what happens to Trinidad's biggest business. The people do. The representatives do. The parliament should, at the very least, the entire parliament should, not the secluded cabinet." And that is madness. That is insanity. You cannot let the cabinet decide to sell Petrotrin or NGC or anything else to Anthony Sabga, especially since, or the Sabga group of companies, especially since their former chief operating officer is not the man evaluating the thing. Come on, man. What madness going on in this country? What madness is going? How could I take my supreme man of business, put him to run the country's energy companies, and tell the cabinet it's time to sell it? And guess who first in line to buy it? Guess who first in line to buy it? And that is wrong. That is wrong. That is criminal conspiracy in every sense of the word, and it is wrong. And we need to be able to stand up and say it is wrong and we reject it. This beautiful land. Let's go back to the Constitution. The Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago don't recognize political parties at all, you know. It doesn't want political parties. And what the Progressive Empowerment Party wants to do is go back into the parliament and undo the bullshit that the political parties, the PNM and the UNC have done, and the ULF, and all of them who have tolerated this nonsense, because it is a hijacking of, a ganging up on the House of Representatives. How it is supposed to work is this. Every constituency in Trinidad, all 41 constituencies in Trinidad, supposed to be somehow a little bit autonomous. Run your business. Run your business. That's how it's supposed to be. That's what we propose to do. Take care of your education, take care of your health, take care of your public utilities, take care of your security, take care of your education, take care of your business. Come to us and discuss with us what you want. Your people need to discuss with us on a national level, or what we could do to help you. And don't bring 250,000 people from Diego Martin West. Pick one among you, a representative, if you will, and send it to a house set apart that we will call the House of Representatives. So all 41 constituencies send their one man of business or their woman of business, the representative, and we will call it the Parliament, and we will make them a member of Parliament. And when all 41 gather in the Parliament, because the Speaker, which is another piece of bullshit, we do not have a system where the entire Parliament elects the Speaker. The people who win puts the person who adjudicates over everybody else in charge. So it's like the bigger gang getting to run the house. How does that sound anything like democracy? Stick a pin in that, because we're going to come back to that. That is raw, unfettered, tepid, room temperature bullshit. And we need to deal with and undo that. There needs to be an amendment to the Constitution that makes the Speaker of the House independent and set apart. Because the Speaker of the House adjudicates. And you cannot adjudicate if you are already part of one side. That is a contradiction of terms. And for every political party who's ever sat in that parliament and not fought that and contradicted that and asked for a change, you're all part of the problem. You're not the solution. So Kamala, miss me with that. See? I'm being good. Come back to the point. 41 members of parliament are elected by the people. So Diego Martin West and Toko Manzanilla and San Fernando East and St. Anne's North, everybody, Caroni Central, everybody, Oropouche, Tobago West, let me make sure nobody can say about a piece of the country. Everybody send their 41 people, so we all there, 41 of us in the House of Representatives. All of us collectively represent the people of Trinidad and Tobago. I represent a piece. I represent Diego Martin West. I'm talking to somebody, right? Okay, so now, how are we going to do the business of the country? All of us are here. What do? We elect one among us that we call Prime Minister. So we write to the President, His Excellency, I like John Smith's ideas. I think I will give John Smith my support. His Excellency the President totals up all the support letters that he got from all 41 of the House members, and they should go back to the people and say, listen, I like John Smith's ideas. What do you think we should support him? Yeah. Or they might say, no, we want you as Prime Minister because we like your ideas. And the 41 people decide. And then this person is asked to form a government. And in Trinidad, a government should be a Minister of National Security, a Minister of Finance, a Minister of Education, a Minister of Health, a Minister of Public Works, a Minister of Food Production. That's what else you need? What else do you need? And the Minister of Health, his job is to deal with the 41 health supervisors. The Minister of Education, his job is to oversee national examinations and to deal with the 41 education supervisors. All of a sudden, you have a decentralization of power, and the states, the constituencies, they start to work. They start to work because now the people of Diego Martin West understands that I don't have to cuss Garcia, I have to cuss this man or this woman who is the supervisor of education in my constituency. So if my school's not working, partner, is you to catch and is you to get fired. And if they can't fire you, I go into the Ministry of Education for that. So all of a sudden the workload start to make sense. And that is what we hope to get accomplished. But the point that I wanted to make tonight, and I was in a conversation today, is this. We are walking around pretending that the whole country failing. And that's not true. The country is not failing. Institutions in the country are failing. And generations that have been lazy and have failed to call them to order. What we do here every night. What the gentleman outside the Prime Minister's office did today, and I applaud you, my friend. What Mr. Smart did outside Rituals, he was calling private sector to account, but it's still people standing up. And what we do here every night, and what people are doing more and more, because if you look around, you see positive ripples, everybody finding their voice. We're informing, we're educating, but more importantly, we're empowering. We are empowering people to the point where they realize, wait a minute. And every night before I go on, if I show you my WhatsApp, how much messages that I get, people get sharing information now. They share police, people in the judiciary. Listen, Trinidadians and Tobagonians first. Trinidadians and Tobagonians are citizens of this country first, and they're fed up of the bullshit, and they're fed up of all the rules that have been set up by the criminal class and the conspiracy of corruption, the contractocracy that has conspired and corrupted every agency of state and broken it. They're fed up of that, and they want to change it. And you know what they see? They don't have to like me, you know. They don't have to like me at all, but they like the fact that I am lighting them up, and I lighten them up in a way that makes sense, that they understand, it empowers them. So they're saying, you know what, Philip? Give us the information. I don't mind being a landing point. Tell all already. I like to wake up late. I like to do what I want. I don't want to be nobody Prime Minister. And I am serious about that. Because, I wouldn't be the kind of Prime Minister that you see now. All this bullshit pomp and ceremony. You have somebody else going to need to go and do all the glass clinking and the posing and the posturing. My only concern would be, is it working? If it's not working, let's call a meeting. Let's find all the people who are supposed to be in the food value chain to find out, why is this not working? Fire who we need to fire, hire who we need to hire, fix what we need to fix, and move on. Like, come back to Jackass. Jackass is the Prime Minister. He is the Prime Minister. According to Westminster, where we copy and paste our whole governance system, he is the first among equals. He has chief responsibility. So when he asked the nation, should I ban knives? As foolish a concept as it sounded, do it. Because at least you would have done something. Try something. You've done nothing. You've done absolutely nothing. Crime has never been this bad. Criminals have never been this bold. Police have never been this frustrated. The country feels like it is stopped dead in the water. Symbolically, and a symbolic example of what's taking place on the port every time the boat leaves its stall. But I would like to put Rohan Sinanan in charge of the Prime Minister car. That's what I want. I want Keith Rowley and them to bounce outside, going down the road, siren blaring, and the car break down. Stop round the savannah in the middle of the road, traffic, people blowing the horn. Rowley, what the ass you doing? And he vexed. Sinanan, my car, it's stalled again. That's how the people feel on the boat. That's how the people feel on the boat. They want to pick up the phone and call Sinanan and cuss him. And if I only get Sinan phone number, I will give it to all publicly so I can call him on the board and cuss him. Because he needs a good cut, but he needs a good firing. That's what Rohan Sinan needs, a good firing. And you see, instead of studying about making sarcastic, foolish remarks, Mr. Prime Minister, you would understand that you're looking like a jackass to a people wary of bullshit. We are wary of governments coming to power, spending $200 million to enrich the wives of party financiers, power washing stadiums, when the same money could have been used to maintain the anti-crime helicopters that we so desperately need. But somebody have to explain to me from the UNC or the PNM why the helicopters that we need in South based in the North. Helicopter pilots tell me, Philip, we have an hour and a half of gas. And it's take a half hour to go and a half hour to come. So they send we south, they playing the fool, fooling Trinidadians. We have a half hour outside there. Those helicopters should be based in San Fernando and deep south, where we need them to light up the south coast, where most of the drugs and the guns coming from, especially places like Cedros. Somebody had an answer for that. But I hope to get Mr. Wayne Sturge to take the call. Because he's a guy like that. He's tell me yes, and then he's forget he tell me yes. So I'm calling Wayne now to ask him a totally non-political question. No yellow and steady, no red and ready. Yes, Wayne Sturge is a criminal attorney.
Hello.
Hi, good evening, Wayne. You are live.
Good evening, Philip.
All of the listeners, they know that you were coming, and I told them this is not politics. We talking what I know to be case management and how cases move through the system. Why does our system move so slow?
Well, for a variety of reasons. I think the most difficult part is we don't have enough courtrooms, that's the first thing. And second thing, we don't have enough lawyers practicing criminal law. The clients who require lawyers are at the very last rung of the socio-economic ladder. So they are not well off. They can't pay well. So those types of clients, you wouldn't find lawyers attracted to criminal law for that reason, because the fees are not anywhere close to what other lawyers make.
So defense lawyers swamped at work.
The criminal bar is, if you look at those who practice in the High Court, would make up of less than 60 lawyers. And the Magistrates Court, they would be the younger lawyers, or the lawyers who decide they are not practicing in the High Court because it's more lucrative to practice in the Magistrates Court. They would number a couple hundred. So if you add to that the DPP's office, which would not be representing private clients because they are the ones prosecuting, they also find it difficult to attract people to work in the DPP's office, because criminal law that's how it is. Most people they don't have the makeup to deal with the type of clients, whether you are defending them or prosecuting them. So criminal law in this jurisdiction doesn't attract lawyers for fees on the one hand, and then the inherent dangers involved on the other hand. So if you are not going to incentivize the criminal bar, particularly at the High Court, you are not going to attract lawyers to represent anyone. That's the first thing. So that you have all of the cases concentrated among a small group of lawyers. And I don't want to give the impression that I am boasting, but if there are 900 persons charged with murder, I can tell you from my own diary, I'm representing over 100 of them.
Wow.
So that's just to give an indication. There are other lawyers. Mario Merritt, for instance, he has a substantial percentage of the 900, and so on. So if you're doing a case, particularly in High Court, we sit day to day, every day, until the case ends, and most cases last 2-3 months on average, and then you have the longer cases that last 12 months, 18 months, and in the case of Indra Naipal, 3 years. So whilst you are doing that case, you can't be 2 places at the same time. So you're not going to be elsewhere to do other cases. That's from the lawyer's perspective. From the court's perspective, in the High Court, there are only 6 courtrooms, so 6 judges to man those courtrooms. And in San Fernando, there are 3 courtrooms, and therefore 3 judges to man those courtrooms. And if a court is engaged doing a matter, then all the other matters on that court's list would have to wait until that matter is completed. You'll have to take your turn on the list, because the court, of course, can only do one matter at a time. And if a matter lasts 2 months, 3 months, then the court does 4 or 5 matters a year. Hence the reason why they are pushing this new system called the maximum sentence indication, which in reality is you're asking the accused person to plead guilty when all along he's been saying, look, I'm not guilty. But you have him in a position where it's an act of attrition. The system has worn him down because the system has not been able to give him a trial within a reasonable time.
Justice.
So he's saying, listen, if I wait on a trial, I might be waiting 10, 15 years. If I plead guilty now, I'll be out in a few months, and that's it. And in many cases, plead guilty to murder on the basis of felony murder. Whereas if there was a trial, he may win as well as he may lose. And if he loses, he will do risk of being sentenced to death. The flip side is that the victim and the victim's family would get justice. But when you basically put the accused in a position where he's saying, look, I'm going to plead guilty simply because I'll get out faster on a murder charge, murder felony, you cheat the family of the victim, because the person who murdered their loved one, he's not going to be sentenced to death or life imprisonment. He's going to in most cases, get time served or a very small sentence. But if he's innocent, he's been forced to take a plea and to plead guilty to get out as fast as he could, because the system cannot give him what he deserves, which is a fair trial within a reasonable time. So those are the 2 main factors.
But okay, so that begs a lot of questions. One of them being, that's not really justice.
No, it isn't.
And the second thing is, we spend a lot of money every year on the justice system. Why are we not building more courts? Why don't we take the money that, say, transporting prisoners and build criminal courts outside the jails?
That is a very good question. You see, there are a number of things that happen in the system, and because of the way the system is run, the ineffective and inefficient way it is run, you have persons profiting from the system. Amalgamated security services, that's one example. Why is the police engaging a private firm to transport prisoners? Whereas just over 15 years ago, the police service was responsible for transporting these prisoners to court. Why have you given it to private enterprise?
Well, I asked the question because the Secretary General of the Prison Officers Association said they do not want it, they do not need it, and they do not understand why they are being saddled with it.
Well, and it spans successive administrations. Yeah. So somebody is making close to $100 million, I think, every 5 years, or probably more. And the thing is, you don't need it. There's a more efficient way, because I'll give you an example. I can't tell you to come into the court with a camera, because you'll get yourself in trouble. But if you walk into the Port of Spain 4B Magistrates Court, for instance, and there are a number of other courts which are, and in some cases were, equipped with television monitors, and they were hooked up to a system whereby you can see the prisoner in the prison, and the prisoner in the prison can see the magistrate and the proceedings in court. So you don't need to bring prisoners to court every day. You shouldn't be bringing prisoners to court every day just to tell them that their matter is being adjourned. And that is where the money is. When you keep bringing these prisoners to court every single day, you bring probably I don't even know the figure. Probably a couple hundred prisoners a day.
I promised you I'm going to stay away from politics, but
let me make this clear. I'm speaking in my capacity
as a criminal attorney.
Criminal defense attorney.
But in your capacity as a criminal defense attorney, because I mean, looking at it from a person with a mind and a brain who is capable of calculating and thinking, how do we solve these problems? Why isn't Parliament solving these problems?
I don't listen. You can't blame Parliament for all of the problems. Of course, there are.
No, I'm talking prisoner transport. That contract, we do not need it. It is wasteful. It doesn't make sense. Why isn't the Parliament solving? Why don't they intervene and break the contract?
Okay, the Parliament cannot intervene. The Parliament didn't award the contract. So that is the remit of the executive government. And in any event, I think most people misunderstand how Parliament works or doesn't work. The legislative agenda in Parliament is set by the government of the day.
Absolutely.
At this point, it is the PNM, so the PNM will decide which bills they bring to Parliament, which bills they see as a priority, which laws they need to revise or review or repeal, and they'll give priority to those, whether they are right or whether their priorities are misplaced. That's a matter for the electorate.
I will stay clear. I promise you, I'm not talking politics, because you said it. It straddles administrations, plural. And I do not understand, but I will find another way to ask that question without putting you on the spot. But the one that I am most concerned about is this. We just had a case where a young woman, was raped inside a police station. And that case took 16 years, despite there being a rapist, a willing, coherent victim, and enough evidence to convict. How could that take 16 years? How could we justify that as a nation?
Well, before I answer that, let me just, for the sake of completeness, just end the last answer. What could be done to get rid of prisoner transport? Because you don't need it. You only need, the prisoners only need to be brought to court when their cases have started. So in the interim, what you do is you make use of the camera system, and you link the prisoners to the court. And they'll hear whether their matters are being adjourned and so on and so on. So having said that, it's a very simple solution. The equipment costs nowhere near millions. It costs less than $1 million to equip each of the courts. And but of course somebody is going to lose 100 and more million if that is put in place. Right. With respect to your...
No, but you can't just stop there and say that, Wayne, because I let you off the hook. But I want to come back to you now then and ask you this. Because you are part of an organization that should be pressing for that in the Parliament.
No, again...
I know you do not set the agenda.
No, we don't set the agenda.
You do not set the agenda.
I raised it in Parliament some time ago. And I intended to raise it in the last debate on crime, but the government decided they didn't want me to wrap up the debate. They would rather run on the clock and let the debate expire without me wrapping up. But it will come again. We will bring it up again, and I intend to bring it up if I'm still once I'm retained in the Senate, when the budget debate comes up, because that is ahead of expenditure, and we'll need to ask government if you're cutting cost in terms of other parts of the budget and so on. This is one area you can see.
Why continue this wasteful contract?
Yeah, you don't need to continue prisoner transport. This is one way you can save money, and you can redirect it and perhaps build more courts and so on. But anyway, I simply wanted to close off that thought, because I know your listeners may have wanted some sort of explanation, but I don't want to simply raise something without advancing.
Absolutely.
But with respect to the case, the rape with the police prosecutor, let me just say, it takes on average 12 to 15 years from the time you are charged to the time you are tried. That is normal for things like, it's bad that it is normal for murder, because there's no bail for murder. It is normal for other cases like possession of firearms, unless you decide to
the case that was just finished with the guy who was charged for stealing and Stevens and Johnson's, that took 25 years.
Right. But the thing is, yes, so there are cases that can drag on that long.
Is there no way legally that you could force the court to do better than that?
That is another story, and I might have to give you more time on another day. But let me ask the question that I didn't answer yet about the prosecutor. While some cases or most cases take 12 to 15 years from the date of charge to the date of trial, sexual offences are handled differently and more expeditiously because of the nature of the offence and the fact that you have victims and so on. So you would like to have these allegations dealt with expeditiously, and you see, the longer you take, you run the risk of the victim not being willing to give evidence 15 years after, because who wants to relive that trauma. So it is surprising that a rape case would take that long, because the system tends to give priority to sexual offences, rape in particular. So the fact that it took 16 years, that is amazing. I'm shocked by that one. But the other part of this is, it may have taken 16 years because he was a police prosecutor. He obviously would be able to drag this on. He would be able to have it adjourned more times than the usual.
So I want to ask you a question. Who in public authority, who in the state has responsibility for overseeing all of these matters, where the management of justice and the courts and case management and how long cases take? Who has responsibility for that?
Well, at different stages at the magistrate's court, the magistrate would have to decide which cases he or she gives priority.
But you've said that there are breaks in the system where things need to be fixed. We need more courts. We need to deal with prisoners in a different way. We need to manage all of these things. Who makes these decisions? It's not the Prime Minister's decision to make. Who makes these decisions?
I think the bulk of the problems with the courts, I don't want to criticize because the judiciary doesn't like to be criticized, but a lot of the wastage of time you can put squarely at the feet of the judiciary in terms of how they manage their time and so on. But again, they don't like to be attacked, and I don't want to attack them, but the evidence is there. If you listen to the Prison Officers Association, they blame the judiciary. You listen to the police, they blame the judiciary. You listen to anyone, they'll tell you in reality the judiciary is largely responsible for what has taken place.
But if you talk to judges, especially judges who come out of the system, and they tell you how hard that they are trying to change the system, why is it so difficult to change? Why is it so difficult to fix it, to upgrade it, to put what needs to be put? Why isn't there somebody bridging the political directorate from the judiciary to make sure that the things that we need, we get them?
Well, that's a question I can't answer. But what I can say is, you have several stages. The magistrate's court, the magistrate would be the one to know if he or she is given priority to a particular case or what cases ought to get priority. If the magistrates are not managing the time properly, and I can't blame the magistrates only, I have to blame the police. I'll tell you this, I used to attack the magistrates at one time, and one day a magistrate said to me, listen, you went on the television and you said that our courts are empty by 11 a.m. We are out of here, which is true. I don't know about now, but at the time a couple of years ago. And what she explained to me is, listen, we'll set cases for trial, and the police would turn up, and they did not notify the victim. So we have to adjourn it. We can't say we're going to throw it out because there's a victim involved.
So that is a simple case management issue. Why isn't there somebody responsible for making sure, and I'm not trying to overly simplify the thing, but I am saying though, and you surely in your position has to be asking, you have to be asking, why we not doing better?
Well, I have been asking that a few years now. But you see, the thing is, if there's, how to put it, there's some interconnectedness in terms of the relationships between the various arms. And if one arm is not functioning properly, then it affects the others. And that is what that particular and they said, look, we didn't serve the witnesses, or all of a sudden we can't find the witnesses, or whatever excuse, and they normally have a lot of excuses, they don't throw out the cases because they are victims. So what happens is you'll adjourn, and of course the magistrate has nothing to do for the rest of the day, so he or she goes home. That could be fixed by the way you timetable cases, and it's not the individual magistrate, it would be the administrative arm of the judiciary, how the case managed. Because if a magistrate doesn't have anything to do, there must be another court that has cases
that could benefit.
Cases ready.
Yeah.
You can say, listen, send this one over to me.
Absolutely.
But the problem with that now is jurisdiction. Sometimes they say, well, we don't have the jurisdiction to deal with that, or that it comes from a different jurisdiction, and so on. So there are a number of issues, and it all boils down to, if one arm is not doing what it is supposed to do, it affects the other arm. But that's the magistrate's court. The other thing at the magistrate's court is most of the lawyers at the magistrate's court, they are engaged in a hustling. It's hustling. You make 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 a day by simply adjourning cases. So they are hustling. If you actually sit down to do a case, you'll make less money. Because whilst you are doing that case, you are missing out on adjourning or doing bail applications for other cases and so on. It's a hustle.
So you see where you're going, and you can't give us that little teaser and end, but we're going to run out of time, and I want to ask you a question. Two questions. Can we call you back next week to follow up on this if you have the time?
Yes. I'll tell you when not to call me, because you tend to call me on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
I'll call you.
And that's when I'm in the Senate.
I'm calling you Monday. Monday nights we have our biggest audience. And the second thing I want to ask you before you go, and if you can't answer it now, maybe you can answer it then. Could something like a commission of inquiry into the administration of justice in Trinidad and Tobago identify the sticking points and the problems that need addressing, and make recommendations to the government of the day and the political directorate that this, and to the judiciary, that these are the things that need fixing?
The short answer is yes. We had a commission of inquiry into the administration of justice in 2000, I think. Wales Lord McKee, retired law lord, sat as one of the commissioners, but it was a commission of inquiry into the entire justice system. And after that, we saw that the civil jurisdiction of the court was fixed. We have very little problems in the civil jurisdiction. What we need now is a commission of inquiry into the criminal justice system,
which is separate and apart.
Yeah. If we have that, I sure we'll get all the answers, and everyone will know who to blame and what is the problem, and therefore when you know what the problem is, then you know how to fix it. But I think the time is right for a commission of inquiry into the criminal justice system.
Everybody going to tell everybody that we're calling you back on Monday to follow up with this. So you was giving us some information there, and I want to hear it. Thanks a lot for taking this call.
Just remind me, you know how things are with me, but just remind me, and I'll be here waiting.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, my friend. Thanks a lot for this.
No problem, Philip. Okay.
That is one of the most experienced criminal attorneys. He's a senator, and he understands the system from the top down. And you have to ask yourself, is how this country being run? Because we could make, and tonight we just did with one thing, we could make the world of excuses. We could rationalize, we could say this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, it cannot be so easy for a country that spends $60,000 million a year, that has spent $600,000 million in the last decade. It cannot be so simple for a country to be mismanaged. It cannot be. It cannot be. And we could write into the thread, and you could make your comments and drill down to individual lawyers and individual magistrates and cuss them for abusing the system and making money. But they couldn't do that if the system wasn't broken. And that is the point that I am trying to make. Because in everything that we are dealing with in this country, from education to healthcare to food production to the judiciary to cabinet to parliament, every single thing needs fixing. We need to fix it, and we cannot throw our hands up in the air and say, well, boy, it's so. You can't do that. We have a country that we are going to grow old in. We have a country that we are supposed to hand over to the generations to come. We have to make sure that what we pass on to them is something a little more functional. Give them a roadmap. Tell them, listen, We fix this, this, and this, and these other things need to fix. Because if we're not doing that, if we just about bacchanal, if we just want to find the picture of the gangbanger with Marlene and the president and put that up and waste all we passion, because that's what you're doing. You're wasting your passion, bullshitting. They bullshitting you, you bullshitting yourself, you're getting distracted with foolishness. Foolishness. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, have to understand the problem starts with us. We are the solution. We have to say, okay, to hell now with this tribal politics. It is not working. It is not working. We time now politics, not working. It is not working. You cannot lie to yourself and tell yourself, Akuva Hospital or Taruba Stadium, is it working? It's not. Basdeo Pandey cannot fool me. He was a prime minister twice, and he didn't know then that we needed constitution reform. So he could take that constitution reform authority on and miss me with that. My position is this, you shouldn't need more than 5 years. If you are the prime minister, you shouldn't need more than 5 years. You can't fix everything. Fix something. Don't build shit. I understand that the ex-speaker, Barry Sinanan, what is Steve Sinanan to you? Steve Sinanan, do you own the building across from the Oval? Is that building being rented to the judiciary? Has that deal been struck? What about all the buildings that Manning built that spent all those hundreds of millions and billions of dollars that still lying empty in town? Why are we putting the judiciary in a privately owned business when we could build their facilities for them? Why are we spending $100 million on prisoner transport when we could spend $5 million and build courts outside the jail? Why? Wayne Sturge just told you, you could bring the people to court virtually. You can bring them to court virtually. We have a bullshit law where you must face the person must touch you. I think they must touch you or come and point to you and say he do it. What the ass is that? It's crime and crime punishment. He said to you 15 years. This girl, this woman, have to be applauded for staying the course. Plenty people are saying, you know what? I want nothing more to do with this. That was 15 years ago. 15 years is a long time. It's a long time for a case. And you had to admit, this is not right. This cannot be how we run this country. Cannot be. Cannot be. You cannot spend $600,000 million in a decade and have all to show for it. We have buildings. You know who have things to show for it? Bouygues and China Changnian and all these international companies that coming down here to build shit. They have money to show for it. Then back in their foreign countries, reporting to their shareholders hefty bottom lines. Because we, the Royal Imperial Majestic Banana Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, prefer to build shit than to deal with systems and fix the country for the people. Yeah? But we're not seeing that. In our conversation, we're arguing personalities still. We're arguing personalities still. Like somehow they're going to solve the problem. I've seen Anthony Maraj talking about who is Wayne Sturge's client. Like that will fix the system. Let's do more of that. Let's bullshit more. Let's come on all of the Facebook threads and talk more shit. Let's do more bacchanal. Obviously it's working. Obviously we're getting solutions. Obviously the bacchanal and the bullshit helping us. Because when the people sit down and they drizzle the olive oil and they tell you they're more powerful, you know why? I could get them points for that. You know why they're powerful? Because they focused on their end game and they committed to their end game. And that end game is money, influence, and power. While the rest of you dressing up day and night to go and work for them and talking bullshit. That's like the fly on the elephant back cussing the elephant for walking slow. All you really have any clue what it's going to take to fix this country? I said today, fire the PNN, fire the UNC, go back to the Constitution and build back from there. You all know what that means? That means the OWTU is going to march. Because you're on the Public Service Association and Watson Duke and Ansel Rocher and all of these jackasses, they're going to march. Because we're going to say that a lot of these things are set up badly and we're going to have to shut them down and they're going to march. So you're not going to be able to get gas and they're going to be closing down this business and that business. And you had to take all that jamming while we tried to fix the country. Are you up for that? No. Are you up for that? A little traffic just mess up with mine. So I say, we gotta decide, right? I'm telling you all, not in the bullshit game. That's why I said I want a job. I can tell you how to fix everything. And not one of my suggestions have been discredited. Even the economists that want to fight me down can't discredit the facts of what I say. We can fix this nation. This nation can fix. We can fix it. We can fix everything about it. We can make sure everybody's gainfully employed. We can make sure everybody has hope and everybody has opportunity and a chance at a home and a family, proper education, proper healthcare, affordable food, good quality of life. We can make sure, but between the transition, the bandits and the crooks and all the bullshitologists, all we have to decide to rest our bucket of bullshit down for a minute. For a minute. And say, let's put country first. So if they shut off the electricity in protest, I will light my candle because I'm rebuilding my country. I'm rebuilding my country. But we have to get there. We have to get there. And we have to want to get there. Yeah? And the solution, no matter who tell you anything else, the first solution is to take their power away. To make sure that the haves understand that this nation belongs to the people. We could fix everything. We could rebuild the judiciary. We could rebuild the police service. We could rebuild the public service. We could rebuild everything in this country. We have to have the will to want to do it. We have to decide to stand together as one people under one flag. No more corruption. No more racism. All of we focus, hands together, holding hands, going forward to a better day. But we gotta want that.
Your vote will decide our destiny. Your vote will decide.
Anthony Maraj, I'll tell you this. Anybody who want me to interview who's not PNM and UNC, send the list to me.
Our country's great, but use it well before it's too late. If it is that who you're voting, fail beyond a doubt. When you're voting, vote them out.
Ask them.
If it is the prove it,
Ask them.
pull them out.
Pull them out.
When you're voting, vote them out.
Ask them. Ask them what they're doing.
If it is the time is now that
Change. We overdue.
just as how you vote them in, vote them out. Register and vote them out. If they don't see, vote them out. Stain your finger and vote them out. Show them no mercy, vote them out. Vote them out with total scorn and utter disdain. Let's put our country together again.
Sorry.
Put them out of power.
Terminate their reign.
Let's put our country together again.
I had to call Wayne Sturge. I ain't gonna lie, he'll tell you over 20 times to ask him to come and do this interview. Over 20 times. There are no lawyers who want to give you that information that he gave you tonight. There are none. Wayne Sturge went out on a limb and told you stuff tonight. And he will come and tell you more on Monday. And you may not like his clients and you may not like his politics, but I'm telling you some of the information that you're getting, it will help us fix the system. And that's where we need to be. You have to love me, you know. You have to love me. Let's work together to fix the place.
You voting them in, and there's only tears as soon as they win.
The people of St. Anne's, do you see Stuart Young? The people of Sydneyham Avenue, is your pavement still broken down? Has it changed in the 2 years that you voted him into office? To the people of San Fernando West and Bacadere, has anything changed since Faris Al-Rawi became your member of parliament? To the people of Laventille East and Laventille West, you all have exchanged Fitzgerald Hines. Have either of you benefited? This is your reality. This is the country that you're living in. Keith Rowley is the opposite of democracy. Nylong Hippolyte, 25 out of 26 party groups in Laventille West asked for Nylon Hippolyte as their member of parliament representative, and they foist Fitzgerald Hines on them. Right now, that party, the PNM, is falling apart, and they're negotiating. And Keith Rowley know he on tender hooks, because the Prime Minister, I told you all earlier, the Prime Minister he becomes the Prime Minister by who says they're supporting him. If all his elected members of parliament, including Marlene MacDonald, withdraw their support from him, he will lose office. And he knows this better than anybody else, because he orchestrated this under Manning.
They give you big words and enslave your soul, promising you roads and giving potholes. If they are the reason why the economy could sprout, when you're voting, vote them out, vote them out. If it is the passing laws that them alone can flout.
Why is it we are distracted by the power and the bullshit of Anthony Boudin and Faris and the 6 laws that he and his children broke off the radar? Why Rohan Senanan is not being investigated and prosecuted for misbehaving in public office with regards to the firing of the legitimate board who was supposed to oversee the transaction with the Superfast Galatia and manage the maintenance of the ferry service. It wasn't the best, but it is not the hell that it is now. We just had a situation where information was put in the public space. Information was put in the public space about the Education Facilities Company Limited that voided a legitimate tender and handed sole select public funds to friends and financiers of the government. And if those things are not what are occupying your mind, then let the bullshit continue. Can't fix it. If you think you voted for me for bullshit, wrong man. Wrong man.
Register and totally stick your finger and rescue the country. Put them out with tempo, they happy in vain. Let's put our country together again. Put them out with cannibals.
In a real nation, instead of that bullshit that your Prime Minister gave you, he would have called the Commissioner of Police and he would have called the Chief of Defense Staff to a summit, and he would have told them this is unacceptable. A 13-year-old boy was murdered. His throat was cut. They cut his throat so deep they scar his vertebrae. We are not accepting this. And I put the judiciary on notice. We are going to find them and we are going to bring them, and you are going to clear your dockets and you are going to prosecute them, because we want to hang them and burn their corpse in the public square, because people must know and they must see that the government of the day is capable of providing security. And if you cannot do that, Keith Rowley, miss all of we with your bullshit and fire your bloody self. Yeah? Do that for all of we.
And you see him so, then your only hope is for them to go. If it is fabrication, these statements that they spout,
No politicizing it. Hang them. But you have to find them.
If it is that
And the police tell you, they believe it is the guys who just make a jail because this woman stood up as a witness. Go and find them, arrest them, charge them, prosecute and hang them. Don't waste people's time. You're spending money for this. All you can't do the job, vacate.
all of them
From a side, where's Big Mouth Faris?
put them out in Scarborough and
But I could imagine if that had happened to one of the 1%. God forbid. Because we'd have been marching, candle round the whole Red House tonight, ain't? Miss me with that bullshit. If one life is not valuable in Malabar and Laventille, don't call for me to march when the whole preach Westmoreland and Goodwood Park. Not interested. Anyway, we're running late. Tomorrow at noon, we're at 19 Stanmore Avenue. If you've not joined yet, come. If you want to meet the team, come. Stop sitting down behind Facebook and asking who is the team. Do something. Get up and come out. We have to build a party and you have to help. You have to bring your time, yourself, your money, your voice. You can't run this country like you're watching a TV show. If you are not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Understand that. We are in, everybody give it up this Saturday tomorrow. Again, we in Stanmore Avenue at noon. 19 Stanmore Avenue. Come, sign up, join up if you're already a member. Come and volunteer to serve. Make yourself available. We need 41 constituency executives. We need to have a party on election footing because we are pushing for elections and we must be able to win it. Everything we tell you are functional, real ideas, plans, programs and policies, and we are going to assemble a real A-team to come and fix these things because we have no interest in bullshit.
When elections day come, all bandits must go. Register and if they don't see, stain your finger and show them no mercy. Put them out in total scorn and utter disdain.
Let's put our country, end the bullshit,
put them out of power,
end the bacchanal talk. Come up, come out, stand up. It's not enough to talk shit. It's not enough to bullshit. It's not enough to come on these walls and talk. Time for us to stand up. One people, one flag, white, black, brown, yellow, green. Wherever your religion, wherever your creed, wherever your people come from, come together. This is the only way we're going to fix it. Anything else, wasting time. And I have no interest in that. Looking forward to see all of you tomorrow. In 2 weeks we'll be in Santa Cruz. The next time I get a live video from me is Monday night at 8 o'clock. Till then, stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.